I get, the floor, asshole? Stay down.
The film opens with a man named Harley traveling the long road from Texas to California on his motorcycle. The journey was not just an ordinary trip, but a journey filled with tranquility in the midst of a chaotic world. When he stopped at a gas station to fill up, unexpectedly the station was being robbed by two armed men, and even though the situation was very dangerous, Harley remained calm. The gas station attendant looked panicked while Harley acted as if nothing had happened and said that he just wanted to fill up his motorcycle. One of the robbers lost his temper, brandished a gun, and ordered Harley to lie on the floor. However, Harley waited for the right moment and moved swiftly, subduing the robber in an instant.
Pump all the gas you can hold.
That's not good business.
In another town, we see a man named Marlboro playing pool against a large man named Big Indian. Marlboro shows extraordinary skill, winning and taking home the prize money. Meanwhile, Big Indian refuses to accept defeat and orders his men to attack Marlboro. Amidst the chaos, Harley appeared and mocked the Big Indian group for needing so many people just to face one man. Offended, Big Indian decided to fight Marlboro alone, but with a knife. Fortunately, Marlboro quickly and deftly threw a billiard ball at Big Indian and managed to escape. It was at this point that the two legendary friends finally reunited after a long separation. Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man were old friends who hadn't seen each other for 2 years since Harley left town without a word, and now they stood together. Harley witnessed major changes in the city, including the construction of a futuristic airport, a striking symbol of the rapid changes of the time. That evening, they visit their old favorite bar, and before entering, Harley gives Marlboro a pistol as a birthday present. Marlboro unhesitatingly fires the pistol at his old motorcycle, laughing about their challenging past. Inside the bar, Harley meets Jimmy, the owner and their old friend. Jimmy is pleased to see Harley, but warns him not to interfere with the affairs of the two men in suits who have just left. Harley's attention is then drawn to the stage where a woman is singing. It turns out to be Lulu, Harley's ex-girlfriend, who now works as a singer at the bar, and Marlboro calmly reminds Harley that Lulu is now married.
Better leave that one alone, Harley.
Soon after, they moved to the back of the bar where an arm wrestling match was taking place. Harley reunited with Jack Daniel and his old acquaintances, now much changed. Jack, once a close friend, now challenged Harley to a fight, feeling offended. Despite his much smaller size, Harley managed to knock Jack out early in the fight. However, Jack, with much greater strength, got back up and retaliated with full force until he finally defeated Harley.
He's fucked.
As a final act, Jack threw Harley out the bar window, affirming that Lulu was now his beloved wife. Harley remained calm and explained that he had ended his relationship with Lulu because he knew that Lulu's true love was actually for Jack. That honesty eased the tension, and they eventually resumed their friendship as before. The fight at the bar resulted in huge losses, with Jimmy losing a lot of money from betting, and he seemed devastated because he had to spend a lot of money to repair the bar, not to mention that his bar was also almost bankrupt. The situation became even more critical because a large company called the bank threatened to seize the project if Jimmy failed to pay off his debts of $2.5 million within 21 days. The bank planned to demolish the bar and build a large complex on the land. Upon hearing this, Harley came up with a crazy idea to steal money from the bank and save Jimmy. Marlboro initially refused, but Harley explained that the bar was not just a place to drink, but a home where they could always return, and Harley was determined to do whatever it took to save the bar. After careful consideration, Marlboro and Cuervo, a bar employee who also owed Jimmy a favor, agreed to join. In the end, a small group was formed consisting of Harley, Marlboro, Jimmy, and Cuervo, and they planned to rob a money transport vehicle belonging to the bank. At first, everything went smoothly, and they managed to subdue 2 armed guards without any difficulty. However, before they could complete the job, one of the guards pressed the alarm button, which ultimately caused trouble for Harley and his friends.
Go.
No, you drop it, asshole.
Think fast.
Shortly after, the bank sent 5 heavily armed men in sophisticated bulletproof vests. a firefight broke out. Harley and his friends fired as best they could, but the 5 heavily armed men continued to advance. Suddenly, Jack appeared using his motorcycle as an improvised explosive device, detonating it towards the enemy and finally clearing the way for Harley's group to escape. He then shouted for everyone to escape through the sewer because Jimmy was waiting with the getaway car. They finally managed to escape, but upon inspecting the stolen truck, they are disappointed to find it empty. Instead, they find a cargo of drugs called Crystal Dream, an experimental synthetic substance that has begun circulating in the city. Harley is furious and demands to know why the bank is transporting such dangerous goods. At the bank's headquarters, Security Chief Alexander receives direct orders from Wilder, the bank's owner, to recover the cargo and eliminate the thieves. Wilder believes the perpetrators are professionals, as they were able to destroy 2 armored vehicles and escape with ease. That night, Marlboro took Harley's motorcycle and drove fast to calm his mind. He then deliberately attracted the attention of a female police officer, triggering a high-speed chase.
Stand up and put your hands behind your head.
The police finally stopped him, but instead of taking him to the police station, Marlboro was invited to her house. The police officer's name was Virginia, and it turned out she was Marlboro's ex-girlfriend. The two were once again caught up in their old romance, which had not yet faded. Virginia was already engaged to another man, but still harbored strong feelings for Marlboro. She wanted a stable and serious relationship, while Marlboro was someone who wanted to live freely and had no plans to marry. The next morning, Virginia was surprised to find Harley preparing breakfast for her. Harley explained that the breakfast was for Marlboro and invited Virginia to eat at a cafe near the house.
Marlboro, me and you'll go out and have something to eat.
During a warm conversation, Virginia revealed something worrying, saying that Crystal Dream, which Harley had found, was highly addictive, damaged the nervous system, caused severe hallucinations, and was ultimately deadly for its users. After breakfast, Harley drove Virginia back to her house, and before entering, Virginia admitted that she was a little jealous of Harley and Marlboro's free and adventurous lifestyle. Meanwhile, Marlboro, who was still hurt by knowing that Virginia was getting married, without thinking twice, stole Virginia's fiancé's motorcycle and left Virginia shocked and confused.
Hey man, what are you doing?
He's gonna take my girl, I'm gonna take his bike.
Sometime later, Harley and Marlboro decided to face the problem head-on. They went to the bank's headquarters to meet Wilder, the bank's owner. However, Wilder had already prepared everything because before the meeting, he had received a call from Harley demanding a ransom of $2.5 million for the drug shipment they had stolen. Wilder pretended to agree and arranged for the meeting that night at an old abandoned aircraft graveyard on the edge of the desert. At the appointed time, Alexander arrived at the location carrying a suitcase full of cash, and the exchange went smoothly without a hitch. Harley and his friends then returned to the bar and celebrated their success in the back room with euphoria, confident that everything was over and they had won the dangerous game. However, Marlboro sensed something was amiss because everything was too easy, and he urged his group to leave town before it was too late. His hunch proved correct, as shortly afterward, Alexander and his men suddenly stormed the bar armed to the teeth. Meanwhile, Harley and his group watched tensely from behind the one-way mirror. Jimmy tried to reassure Alexander that the bar was empty, but Alexander pretended to believe him and then shot Jimmy mercilessly. Alexander's men began shooting at the mirrored glass, triggering a brutal shootout. Harley and his friends tried to fight back, but they were outnumbered. One by one, they were killed on the spot, and only Harley and Marlboro managed to jump out the window and escape. With broken hearts, they ran to the airport and hid in the baggage compartment of a plane that was about to take off. An officer almost caught them, but they managed to silence her before she could sound the alarm. Meanwhile, Alexander continued to chase them, even killing another officer who tried to stop him from entering the restricted area of the airport.
Hey, this is a restricted area, man.
Luckily, Harley and Marlboro managed to and continued their journey to Las Vegas. Upon arriving in Las Vegas, they stayed at a hotel, and the tension between the two was seen to escalate. Marlboro was still devastated by the deaths of his friend, angry at Harley's cold attitude, and punched him in the face. Harley explained that everyone was aware of the risks they were facing, then realized his own mistake and apologized sincerely. He begged Marlboro to stay with him to finish everything until the end, but Marlboro just kept quiet and chose to go out to calm his mind. Not long after, Harley, who was alone in the room, saw a small object on the floor, and when examined, the coin felt strange, as if it was holding something. At the same time, Marlboro tried to call Virginia from the hotel lobby, but soon after he saw Alexander and his men arriving ready to attack them. He then ran to Harley's room to inform him, and the two of them fled to the hotel roof, but were soon cornered. In the end, they jumped into the swimming pool below to escape pursuit. During their escape, Harley finally realized that the small coin was a tracking device planted by Alexander, and after throwing it away, they boarded a freight train speeding eastward from Las Vegas. During the journey, Marlboro said that they couldn't run forever. They had to return to Los Angeles to seek revenge in honor of their fallen comrades. But Harley refused, arguing that their lives were more valuable and that the most important thing was to survive. That night, Marlboro visited Virginia's house for the last time, despite being greeted with a cynical look from her fiancé. In a heavy voice, Marlboro revealed that Virginia was the best part of his life and thanked her for the time they had spent together. Shortly after, Harley suddenly appeared on his motorcycle saying it was time to end everything. They reunited and devised a final plan using a coin tracker to lure Alexander and his forces back to the plane wreckage where they had first met. That night, Alexander and his men arrived at the location, but upon arrival, they found only an empty suitcase and a coin left behind as a message that Harley was aware of their deception. Suddenly, from a distance, Alexander saw two figures standing among the wreckage of the plane. A gunfight broke out again, and Marlboro managed to shoot accurately, taking down one of Alexander's men. Meanwhile, Harley fired wildly, and his bullets were almost gone without any results. The fierce battle continued until Alexander finally managed to separate Marlboro and Harley. Marlboro was finally captured and asked to reveal the location of the money, but he refused to answer with his head held high. At that critical moment, Harley emerged from behind the rubble and ordered Alexander to release Marlboro. He then fired, but his bullet missed and hit Marlboro's arm. Alexander laughed at Harley's shooting skills, but Marlboro continued to encourage him and shouted for Harley to stay focused. Harley took a deep breath, calmed himself, then took careful aim, and this time his shot hit its target, piercing Alexander's body and causing him to fall.
Shoot him!
They made sure the enemy was dead before leaving the location, and after confirming everything, they forced Alexander's helicopter pilot to take them to Wilder's office. During the flight, the pilot explained that Alexander and his men were wearing Japanese-made bulletproof vests, and he also explained the difficulties Harley and Marlboro were facing. Upon arriving at the top of the skyscraper, where Wilder was meeting with Japanese investors, Harley and Marlboro entered confidently. They then threw a suitcase full of money on the table and demanded that the bar owner's contract be extended. However, Wilder changed the subject and talked about how he could earn millions of dollars from the distribution of Crystal Dream without caring about the victims. Hearing this, Harley's patience ran out, and he ordered Marlboro to shoot Wilder, but Marlboro refused because his principle was not to shoot unarmed people. At that moment, Wilder's armed guards entered, but the pilot whom they had threatened shot them all from outside the window, killing all of Wilder's guards instantly. Wilder then insulted Marlboro and belittled his deceased father. Marlboro's anger then erupted, and he attacked Wilder, cornering him at the edge of a large unprotected glass window. Wilder tried to hold on to Marlboro's cowboy boots, but his grip was slippery, while Harley tried to help, but was too late. In the end, Wilder fell from a great height and died below. After all the problems are over, Harley and Marlboro then part ways, and they meet one last time at the rodeo arena. Harley says goodbye forever, while Marlboro faces his dream of riding a rodeo bull again, despite the old injury that once stopped his career. With courage, he climbs onto the animal, proving that his determination will not die even though the body has been defeated. Meanwhile, Harley returns to the highway on his motorcycle, and in the middle of the journey, he sees a woman standing on the side of the road asking for a ride. Without hesitation, he stops to offer her a seat on the back of his motorcycle, and together they finally ride off into the unknown, starting a new free adventure. And the film ends. This story teaches that true friendship, courage, and loyalty to the people and places we love can be the strongest forces in a chaotic world. Even in the face of danger, loss, and betrayal, the courage to act for what is right and protect those we care about will require us to overcome the greatest obstacles and prove that these values are more valuable than money, power, or mere personal safety.